What's going on, everybody? My name's Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Nick and Joe. Welcome back to an all-new K-Drama Club. Well, how do I... That's not how this starts. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new episode of the K-Drama Club, where we watch some amazing K-dramas on Netflix, and we are currently watching...
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha.
Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, and we are on episodes 3 and 4. And if you've been enjoying K-dramas, or if you've been watching Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, you should watch it along with us. Make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so that you can enjoy the show with us. Like I said, we're going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4, so spoilers ahead. We would love to hear your thoughts on the episodes. If you've watched episodes 1 and 2, go back and watch our previous episode of the K-Drama Club. And let's talk about the episodes.
Let's talk about it. It's been a few days since we watched them, so it's all blending together in my head a little bit.
But high-level review is this is a great drama.
It
keeps getting better.
Exactly. And I like it because it overall has a very lighthearted and kind of almost it leans closer to being funny, almost like a comedy, like a rom-com, romantic comedy, than a true drama, we would consider a drama in America. But it's it just leans in every once in a while into this super dramatic side.
Yes, we took a serious turn in this batch.
But we'll start with episode 3.
Yes, well, we get a road trip episode this early in the series, which is who could have expected?
Yeah.
Very funny setup. Hyejin is set up to bring the 3 older ladies to do errands. Well, she's going to Seoul
for a wedding.
Mm-hmm. And
then the 3 old ladies get sprung on her by Tushik. He's like, oh,
he knows that she's going to Seoul.
He's like, everyone needs to go to Seoul. You should just definitely bring us. And he kind of almost forces her into a situation where she has to do it.
Yes.
She tries to say no.
She does not want to do it.
She does not want to do it.
What the heck does she want to be stuck in the car with these ladies for?
Exactly.
But she is on the up and up in the town, She's learning some lessons. She's getting to know the people.
Yeah.
But she's still kind of in her own old ways and doesn't want to, interact too much.
She seems like she can't. She just we were watching the show and I'm like, have you not learned anything yet?
She's got to learn the culture of the town and how people treat each other.
She's definitely in her own little element for sure.
That's her journey. So they go on this very funny long road trip, which apparently takes a long time to get to Seoul from this village. Because they keep having to stop to go to the bathroom. She's going to be late to the wedding, etc., etc. Now, she drops them all off at their errands. Does not have to drive them back, which I find suspicious.
Yeah.
But Tushik has his own appointment in Seoul that he's dressed up for. What is his appointment?
We don't know.
It's for a urologist or something.
Yeah, well, the signs were a little weird with the...
yeah, because it does show a couple different signs.
Yeah, exactly. And he's looking up, and the one you see is a urologist, the main one, so... I don't know.
This makes me nervous that he could potentially have an illness, because obviously we're going to really like his character and everybody likes his character.
Exactly.
So let's just put that on hold. We don't know anything else about that.
Yeah.
She goes to her wedding where she's talking with all her little gossipy friends, and they're talking about their lives.
And they're talking down on her for moving to a small town to be a dentist. And so she kind of makes it seem like she's making more money than all of them, kind of a little lie.
Yes.
But her friends also catch her with Tushik at the end.
Yes.
They're just taking pictures.
Which she wants to not be seen with him.
But they text her the picture later and they're like, oh, how'd you find such a handsome guy?
Exactly.
And she's like, oh, I'm not interested, but he's chasing after me. That kind of. She's making it seem. So once her friends say that he's handsome, then she kind of
He's definitely chasing after her.
Definitely chasing after her. Yes, in his own way, for sure.
He found her at the wedding and saw a moment of her watching the bride with the mother, which we didn't really... interpret that way the first time we saw it, but it gives us that nice little flashback.
Yeah.
She's not just worried about herself and getting married or where all her friends are at in life and her not being there. She is reflecting on the fact that her mom is not there for her to have a moment with.
And she said in the car finally that her mother had passed away.
Right. She told him.
Yeah, she told all the women because they asked what her parents do for a job or whatever.
Right.
So she did confirm that her mother did pass away.
Yes.
So there was that whole situation and then on the drive back, it seemed like her and Tushik were kind of getting closer, they were looking at each other, smiling, and you can kind of tell between them that they know a little bit, but they're still kind of I don't feel like he's pushing back against it at all. She's more pushing back against it, and I think he's just being coy because he knows that she's not gonna go for it that easily.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like he's like as reserved about it as she is.
Yes, but neither of them are like being like head over heels for the other one and like cloying for the other one. They're both trying to play it too cool.
Exactly.
But it's exciting to watch.
But before they went on the road trip, the grandmother, Hamni, had an appointment at the dentist where Haejin was telling her that she needs to get...
I think this was after the road trip.
I think it was before the road trip.
All right, fine.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But she had an appointment, and she
doesn't want to spend the money to fix her teeth.
She doesn't want to spend the money to fix... Yeah, I think it might be after the road trip.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not sure. She doesn't want to spend the money to fix her teeth.
But the Chikwa comes down hard on her and says, what, is it about money? You don't want to fix your teeth? Yeah. And that is very insulting to say.
Yeah.
And Tushiku's like, he basically calls her grandma. Like, they're very close.
Yeah. That's like a thing in Korea, though. They call everybody, like, older
That's
people.
That's just the translation.
They call, they just say the word grandma and grandpa for older people, like, a lot of the time.
Well, they do have a very close relationship.
They do have a close relationship anyway.
So that was not very nice. So she still has some learning to do because she actually interprets it as the older woman being selfish.
Exactly.
Because she doesn't want to spend money on herself. But then we see all these scenes of her like talking to her children, and like her children are kind of selfish in their own right. Yeah. They don't want to like take care of the mother, even though their mother, the matriarch of their family, took care of them all these years. So she ultimately makes the decision that she's going to spend money on herself.
And I think like there's some really great moments where like Tushik sits down with Haejin after at night, and he's like, you shouldn't have like said something like that to her. Like, she's just trying to take care of her kids, like blah blah blah. She just want to spend her kids' money. And then she gives him like this thing where she says, like the best thing a parent can do for their child is to just take care of their health and be there for them.
Right.
And because he never like, they just weren't considering like the other side of it, like how she understands what it's like to live without her mother. So the fact that this woman is like, oh, for the sake of my kids, I'm not going to take care of myself, is like, she like is almost insulted by that. Yeah. Like, that's not what your kids want. And I think the grandmother almost had like a little realization when she called her son, and he was like, oh, money's kind of tight this year. Maybe just get the implants and we'll deal with it down the road, kind of thing. Where like, maybe like her kids are more selfish than she thought, or maybe they don't like, maybe they're far away, and it's kind of like they don't maybe have the same kind of care for her like that someone for like Tushik has for her.
And she doesn't have any expectations of her children, it seems, and she wants to put everybody before herself. But then like you can tell she was like a little let down when she called her son, and it's like they don't want to help her and take care of her. So that's why she makes the ultimate decision, I'm going to take care of myself. Exactly. But they do both, her and the dentist, they both come to this like understanding together. They like meet together, they have dinner, like she shows her that old TV show, TV show from like 2 years ago that she was in with young Tushik makes an appearance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and I think that her going to see the grandmother that night to have that conversation, or that day, like she was there for like a long time, it seemed like, was like the first kind of like moment of like major growth that you see. Yeah. Maybe like the first little bit was when she tells the singer guy like, oh, I like this song instead of like not the one that you got popular, like this other.
I think this is the best part of the show. It's like her journey going, like she interprets everybody as either being like selfish or like whatever. She looks down on other people, and her journey of discovering that no, not everybody is selfish, and she's not necessarily looking down on other people. I like that self-discovery journey. Yeah.
So the grandmother ends up getting the more expensive, like the implants, like that medical treatment. All right, Duncan. Yes. And then episode 4, things start to get...
take a dark turn.
A very dark turn.
A suspicious character turns up at the dentist's office.
And I was wondering if this was going to be like a long-term suspicious character, I guess. Like I was wondering like what his role in kind of the series was going to be. But it seems to just be like a one-off, like this one episode. Yeah. And it kind of goes into a like...
Very serious topic.
Very serious topic, very topical.
Trigger warning essay.
Yeah. I would say very topical, but... And like I think you were getting hints that this is what was happening. And you were getting that vibe.
Because he goes in and he says, there's no cameras in here. Yeah. Like in the dentist chair. which is a sus thing to say.
Yeah, very weird.
And like that's when you first get the hint. But they drag this out throughout the whole episode. They like do like a little scene with this shady thing, and then they cut to like another thing happening.
And I was like, and they built it up so that like before they actually is like revealed what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell, but I almost was like, that's not
Couldn't
way.
believe that that's what was gonna happen.
I don't think they're gonna go in this. Like this is gonna go in this direction. Like, but it was like.
Maybe we haven't seen so many K-dramas, but I was very surprised that it went this direction.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, basically, the guy comes in like 3 or 4 times, I feel like.
What I've noticed about this dentist's office is people coming in many times.
Well, she does the first thing where she tells them what they need, and then they go leave, and then they come back and they get their treatments or whatever. But so he comes back like 3 or 4 times, and her best friend, the receptionist, is like very upset every time. And then one time, finally, the dentist walks in and he's like has his arm like reaching around,
he's touching her
inappropriately, and the dentist turns into like the very serious like situation, but
flips to like physical comedy so fast.
The fight scene is like so like. Funny and like
it's funny and also like it's like a hell yeah moment, like clapping, like you're like so excited that it's going down like this.
Exactly.
Because they find out that this is going down and she just high kicks him in the head.
And then he gets back up and then Tushi comes in and kicks him in the head again. And I'm like,
which is very well deserved, very good
less
treatment.
Less than he deserved, probably.
Yeah, probably less than he deserved. But it's so interesting how like it was like this situation that make you sick to your stomach, and like a very ominous situation to happen to these characters that we care so much about, and then it just flipped on
like
a dime.
She kicks him in the face, and you're like, oh god! And then Tushi comes in and like does like a flying like roundhouse kick or like to the face, and I'm just like laughing. I'm like, what is happening?
But I guess it is good because it ends up with him in the hospital where he belongs. Well, he probably belongs in jail, but then. The girls, or she ends up in jail. The dentist.
Yeah, because this guy is like his father's like a prominent figure in the town. He thinks he's going to get away with it. And like that, nobody's going to believe them or whatever.
He's a rich guy. He like owns the big concrete. His father owns the big concrete business.
So, but like he didn't understand that one of the police officers has a crush on the girl that.
That was being essayed.
Yeah, so that whole situation I think came into play. The police weren't as on his side as he thought they were going to be.
True.
And then also they found his phone with like more evidence of him like taking pictures of people that didn't know, like peeping Tom kind of stuff.
Too Chic is very in with the police anyway. So he's in the cell and he's like, oh, can I change out of my wetsuit? And the police officer outside the cell is like, oh yeah, do you want to just use my clothes? And then comes back and he's in his clothes. Yeah. Very funny situation.
And the 2 girls, but after when in the police station, the 2 best friends like share like a very like heartfelt moment where they
the cell is open. This is another instance where it's like a very heartfelt, serious moment, but there's this comedy sprinkled in because the cell is open. She can leave the cell. They're having this heartfelt moment through the bars of like how she's always going to protect her and like she needs to tell her when things like that are happening. And the cop is just like, you can leave the cell.
Yeah, it keeps cutting back to like Tushik and the police officers, and the police officers like, and he's like, no. And then like he's like, and like let them have their moment.
Right.
And then but finally, they.
Overall, I don't know if people would be like offended in the way it's presented because they put in comedy. Yeah. But I think what ultimately happens is bad guy gets his comeuppance.
Exactly.
Bad things happen to bad guy. Good things happen to the good people, and there is some resolution there.
Yeah. It's pretty like hinted at. Yeah. And then like when it finally comes to like the moment where she finds out, it's not like you really see that much. You see kind of like
you see something starting to happen,
and then she like kind of says like what's happening. Yeah. Because if she didn't say, I still would have kind of been like, is this exactly what I think it was? Yeah. So they make it clear like what was going on. Yeah. But it's not like super like it's not like it's graphic.
They don't make light of the bad things that are happening. Exactly. They kind of make light about how the characters like deal with it in a dramatic way. But that was very interesting plot turn. Yeah. Now my speculation is that this guy's going to turn up again because they get him on all the stuff they find on the phone. But I feel like this is a very common thing in K-dramas where it's a bad character that is connected to somebody who has a lot of power. Yeah. So I would foresee, because I still don't foresee like what is the big bad of the drama yet. Obviously we have Heejin's journey and her and Tushik, that's like a romance. But what is the big
conflict. Yeah.
There was this, which I had assumed wouldn't get like resolved in this episode, but it gets pretty resolved in the episode. But is it going to spiral into something bigger that causes big conflict in the town or something?
Or like the father gets mad at them because his son is in prison or something.
Or she has to leave and pack up her business, but she's grown to love the town so much, and it's like that kind of situation.
Yeah, so I wonder, it is weird to like introduce a plot like this just for it to be in one episode and then to not address like why or like why this situation happened in the first place.
Yeah.
I think would be a little strange.
Yeah, so spiraling off of that very serious event, the dentist in town is getting to know the people in town and getting to know them better and better and building relationships, including the daughter of the musician.
The daughter of the musician, yeah. Originally she had told the daughter of the musician that she had treated a member of a K-pop group before, and the girl didn't believe her because the girl like loves this one K-pop group and this one member, June.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I was his dentist in Seoul one time." So she like goes and finds the picture of her and June together and like brings it to the girl, and then they end up like bonding over it. And
she freaks out.
Yeah, freaks out. So that was a fun little like moment because they're like gossiping, kind of
screaming
like
about it,
and
Tushik is like trying to pour coffee. He's like, "Please go over there, stop."
Yeah, exactly. But he's also like butting in a little bit, kind of like like a little like jealous almost that they care so much about this guy.
But eventually, this idol comes to the restaurant.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be part of the show. It seems.
That's
like,
what I would assume.
Yeah,
he comes to the restaurant and she, the daughter, she assumes that it's just an impersonator.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
She sees him in real life. She's like, "Wow."
She like can't believe that.
Lame.
But I think that he mentioned something about filming. So I think they're like filming in the town. So this will probably become like part of. So
spark some excitement for sure.
For sure. And the other thing that sparked some excitement was there's the two characters who. The woman who owns like the raw fish restaurant.
Oh yes.
And her ex-husband who had gotten divorced. It seemed like they were starting to like reconcile almost through these episodes through like their son's birthday and then the anniversary of her mother passing away. Mm-hmm. They were being
very thoughtful towards each other, even though they tend to act passive aggressive. At the same time.
But I think that it's just like these like lingering situation that they feel like they probably did not fully resolve.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like going back and forth. And it seems like they were like heading towards some sort of like reconciliation, maybe not like getting back together, getting remarried or anything, but just like a more like peaceful existence where like she was making all kinds of food for him and everything, and like they were celebrating like their son's birthday together, and their son was like, "You guys don't have to do this together every year," because they were kind of like fighting. And then I think that was a moment where they realized, like, okay.
The son, that character, he's a very funny character.
Yeah.
I mean, the two little kids are both very funny, but him being like this, like, goody two shoes, like, won't let you have.
He's like too aware of everything for a kid, like one of those kids.
Can't have a certain kind of food or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like okay, Poindexter.
Yeah. But,
very funny characters. Who knew that this whole B plot would be happening?
I know, and I feel like this B plot like took a lot of that episode. With, and what happens is, as they're getting like closer again, her ex-husband's first like love comes back to the town,
and everybody knows who she is.
Everybody knows, and he's like spends all this time like talking. He's like, "Oh no, I'm single now."
Yeah, exactly.
And so now, and then the wife
she's coming to be a teacher in the town, so she's coming to stay.
And then the ex-wife ends up all disappointed and upset. So
throws out all the food. Yeah. That was a very sad scene where she's throwing out all the food that she made him.
No, she like sucks it in the fridge and like is like, "Oh, now we have a lot of food."
Oh, because she was gonna give it to him.
Yeah, she was gonna give it to him, and then she like brings it back to her house and like shoves it all in the fridge, and it's like.
Suddenly, I care about these characters that I thought were just on the side.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
I wonder like what other kind of side plots these like smaller characters are gonna get, because we got one with like the grandmother figure and with the teeth stuff. We're getting one with these characters. So there's a few more shop owners who they've really like they have the two that are having a baby.
Yep.
And then there's a few more people that I think are gonna
get a little more.
I think the K-pop guy is gonna be like the musician and his daughter's like side plot somehow.
For sure. Oh, because maybe he's gonna do something for his career.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's gonna hear one of the demos and they're gonna want to. Oh.
Yeah. So I think there could be a lot going on.
Yes.
With these.
This
side
is
characters.
exciting.
Yeah.
Tushik sings.
Yeah.
Quite how romantic.
Yeah, it was. I think it's good that they
like his voice.
Yeah, they let him actually sing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like great, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like it sounded like a person singing.
Yeah.
And I like that they did that.
Yeah, but they end up back at his house.
Yeah.
Drinking what?
Wine. Yeah.
Yeah, drinking wine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they start by drinking wine,
Yeah.
and then they drink whiskey.
Yeah. They switched to whiskey, and I think that was.
And they
a bad
start
call for
asking
her.
each other personal questions.
Personal questions.
And things are heating up around here.
Heating up real quick.
Her cheeks were heating up,
Yep.
and he was cooling down his hands and cooling down her face with his hands.
Yep, it was
Is
so-
that romantic?
It was adorable. It was very.
You would do that?
I would-
Touch somebody's face like that?
I would probably not do that, but who knows
Exactly.
after a little bit of whiskey.
A little bit of whiskey, I guess. Anything can change. Yeah, but this is romantic. This is the first true romantic moment that they had. It freeze frames there. It stops there, right?
Yeah. That's at the end of the episode.
And I think the to be continued scenes, the scenes that we're going to see next, count as this episode.
Yeah.
Because we know that she ends up staying there.
Something's gonna happen.
She doesn't remember what happened, and it's a mystery to find out what happened.
But I think that this show does a particularly good job of taking those scenes and putting them out of context.
True.
For the next episode. I remember one from the previous, episode 2, that they put, and then in episode 3, it was totally out of context.
Not what we thought she was talking about.
Yeah, not at all in the situation that you thought. So I think that we'll probably get more of that, where they try to make
misdirection.
They're trying to make you think that it went one way, but he's actually talking about something else entirely that you don't really know about.
Yeah.
Yet to kind of keep you wondering.
I'm dying for the episodes, which is a good sign.
I know, it's I'm after Sunday, I gotta wait all week to
It's
watch another
crazy.
episode.
We should have just
Should
waited.
have waited till it was out.
Yes. But if you're watching these along with us, please let us know what you think of the episodes. We would love to read your comments in between, your theories of what's going to happen, your thoughts on what happened in the show. We'd love to hear it. It's going to help us get through the week until Saturday and Sunday when the new episodes come out. And of course, when the new episodes come out, next week we'll be making a new episode of the K-Drama Club, so make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on so you do not miss a future episode of us discussing Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. Thank you so much for watching. Go back and watch some of our other videos if you haven't yet. And that's going to be it. For now, my name's Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And we're Nick and Joe.